I'm gonna do you one better than that, boy. I'm gonna pay for your food. It's my turn to pay right now. Crazy nigga. Go on, leapfrog. Go on, leapfrog.
Get out of here, Wilfred.
Y'all crazy.
Get on out of here, boy.
All right, play out. All right.
Check it out. Hey, yo, please allow me this. Shout out to the Woo. Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses couldn't explain why I be doing these semi-phenomenal reviews, such as with Always Outgunned, where I would describe Socrates of Watts as a noble savage on the road to redemption. Hopefully, he's not executed for corrupting the youth like his namesake. Check it out. Hey, yo, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe to become a hood figure. That way, you can recommend what movies I should do next. But for now, check it out. So, what's it about? Love, empathy, prejudice, sorrow, and death. How a man named Socrates finds redemption while attempting to reclaim an honorable life as a black man on the peripheral of a white world. For a man with a past is a daunting task, which takes every ounce of self-control he has. The title exemplifies how the odds are set against you, simply because how society is. And how is society? Low-key, it's harsh, judgmental, punitive, and dismissive. Collectively with all that, yeah, it'll have you feeling like you always outnumbered, outgunned, outwitted, outmatched, out all that. Out, goddammit, like you're out of it. But check it out. Socrates' Fortlow is called Soko for short. He's a middle-aged ex-con striving to redeem himself as an honorable man. Despite hardships, his life experiences has not hardened him to the simple needs of others, young and old. Socrates lives in Watts, it's part of California, and speaks with wisdom laced with profanity. He's a tough guy in a tough world, willing to do whatever's called for when the situation demands it, you know? He about that life, basically. And I'm telling you, he's not shy when it comes to violence on his fellow man. In fact, he's more of a fortress of a man, powerful but imbued with like this deep moral sense. He's more introspective than others. Unlike many, he's a man that's aware of how the world sees him. Right, Burke? That's the narrator and Socrates' best friend. He's a tough old guy. Well, he's a tough senior citizen dying from cancer. What's interesting is, it's possible that whatever it is Soko, that's what they call Socrates, sees in Darryl, right, Burke sees in him, whether it's reflections of similar remorse or just feelings of loneliness or perhaps the observance of your friend's trajectory on the street. What right Burke is to Soko, Soko is to Darryl. Who is Darryl? Darryl is a ward of the state. His father died in jail, his mother is not around, his foster parents are neglectful and pretty much non-caring. Darryl's not a cold-hearted kid, and he's far from a killer or a thug. At best, he's an accomplice, but at the very least, he's just a witness to murder. Darryl is very keen as a kid, I ain't gonna lie, contemplating if Soko went to jail for murder. He must have killed a white man. And that may be because Darryl has seen so many blacks killed other blacks without consequence. Check it out! What I see? This film is a series of intertwining events that explores the human condition by way of the people in Socrates' life. From love, to prejudice, to empathy, to sorrow, to friendship, honor, and even death. This film says so much with what feels like so little. What we know about Socrates is his mother named him after a philosopher in hopes that he would aspire to be more than she could offer, which really ain't unusual. Just think of the parents that name their sons king, sire, or legend. Personally, I can relate. My mother named my brother Adonis because she thought he was a beautiful baby and would grow to be some fine, attractive man. She was wrong, but nonetheless, I get it. But anyway, Socrates is a man with a tortured soul suffering but never really feeling sorry for himself. When the film starts, we see Socrates has been out of prison and living in Watts for about 10 months. When released to atone for what he did, he swore to himself that he would never hurt another person, except for self-preservation. So day by day, Socrates judges himself on a pass or fail basis, based on the amount of good he does over harm. If he harms more than he helped that day, he considers it a failure. This has been his MO, modus operandi, almost as a way of making up for all the bad karma he put in the world previously. And despite his hostile and violent disposition, Socrates manages to hold up this moral code fairly well. As a proud man, he honestly just wants to be paid for the work he does. But at the same time, he's almost too proud, refusing work from Lula, played by the incredible Natalie Cole, who wants him around for a little bit more than work, you feel me? Same time, it could be that he's thrown off balance by her positive energy, much like he is around Darryl. When Socrates met Darryl, keep in mind he's a ward of the state, the boy was carrying around a dead chicken he just killed. As a child, Darryl has been without parental care for so long that Socrates simply saying he'll look out for him as he slept peacefully made Socrates into a type of guardian, or better yet, like a big brother. What's evidence is Socrates' life has been so hard, it's almost as if he's uncomfortable being vulnerable. And if I'm being honest, I'm sure plenty of us can relate to that feeling. Check it out. Lessons from Always Outnumbered, Always Outgunned. Lesson. Hey yo, it ain't even just about others not respecting us no more. As black men, we gotta treat each other more respectfully.
God, have you gone to the emergency room for this, Mr. Farlow?
No.
Anytime he wrote
Lesson. You're failing when you're hurting people without something good coming from, even if it's yourself. Lesson. When you don't know when you done something wrong, life ain't really worth much, man. Accountability is part of what makes us mature.
See, if you don't know when you done wrong, but life ain't worth a damn.
Man, that's nice, huh? I bet she give you some of that for free.
Lesson. Nothing in life is free. A man is supposed to pay his own way through life.
Your turn. It's waiting on you out there somewhere.
Lesson. You ain't got friends when it come to a good woman. And I'ma say it again. You ain't got friends when it come to a good woman. If you got a good woman, treat her right, or else someone else will. And I mean that twice as much if you got a good man at the crib. Lesson. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes it's better to deal with situations directly head on than to just turn it over to the police. Especially if you're dealing with another black man. Because turning in a black man to the police could be more fatal than his offense or charge. Hashtag Sandra Bland. Say her name, man. Lesson. Despite always being outgunned and always being outnumbered, as a black man, fuck it. As a man, as a human, you should always do your best and stand up for yours.
You're always outnumbered, you're always outgunned.
They still gonna be after me.
Yeah, but you done stood up. Did your best. Now, you ain't got nothing to be ashamed of for the rest of your life.
Lesson. While at Lula's we see the example of having money doesn't change who you are. A fool with money will always be ignorant. Prosperity doesn't give you class or etiquette.
That's damn good, Socrates. Oh, that's damn good.
Lesson. Whatever you want and don't have is what they call
Whatever it is I want
dreams.
and don't have. That's why they call them dreams.
Check it
Oh,
out.
you way too deep for me, brother. You just way too deep. You.
When you see it, I think the purpose of this film is to illustrate the humanity of a fallen man. A perspective from a figure most would dismiss due to his outward disposition of anxious, aggressive volatility. Introspectively, though, Socrates is painfully, if not defensively, aware of the impression he makes. Yet, he's a man of inner strength and depth. Why you got me talking? If we paying attention, we see all three stages of life in this movie. The youth with Darryl, middle age with Socrates, and we see old age with Burke, each with their own set of tribulations to rectify. And if you noticed, all three were responsible for someone's death.
Dope fiend don't stop till they're dead. We gotta kill him.
Within their friendship, the old aided the young, and the young had to say goodbye and move forward without their older friend. So maybe the film was showing us that at each phase of your life, you have to accept and face the worst parts in order to move past and progress. That perhaps acceptance in society comes after we accept ourselves, and how it'll always be harder to recognize the forgiveness in others until we forgive ourselves. Maybe what's proper and should be acknowledged is that the older friend in the movie wanted to prevent the younger friend from ending up just like the older one did. To me, the best gem from this movie came from when Socrates spoke on hunger, saying that when something is missing, hunger tells you what it is, which can be taken a couple of ways, like hunger can provide the drive to fill your belly, or like when there's a void that only a conversation can fill. Like motherfuckers can be hungry for a conversation. Over a meal is one of the best times to discuss what's going on or what's missing. When you think about it, Socrates of Athens was a philosopher accused of corrupting the youth with knowledge. Socrates of Watts was a fixer trying to correct the corruption of the youth, while still at the same time schooling them on their impact. When we see Socrates gluing the legs on that old table, that was a metaphor for his friend's marriage that he helped repair as well. Beyond a fixer, Socrates was a modern day urban philosopher. He actually lived up to what his mother wanted him to be. Talk about manifest destiny. Should have named a millionaire. Check it out. So, in closing, fact is, if you ever been an underdog or from the hood, let alone the bottom, at some point, you're gonna feel like you're outnumbered or you're outgunned. I ain't gonna lie. But what you better do is persevere, because the odds are stacked against you. Beyond this movie's surface layer, the film is about how black people must take care of their community and protect those that's in it, young and old. Check it out. Socrates of Athens sought out the answers to urgent human questions and conundrums. Here, Socrates of Watts was trying to understand why a man who wants to work can't find it. He wants to know, how is it that young people think hard work is for fools?
That's damn good, Socrates. Oh, that's damn good.
Another similarity he had with his namesake was Socrates of Athens was charged with corrupting the youth by teaching them to question the status quo or existing state of things, which is exactly what Soko did with Darryl. This film's theme is to teach the youth to challenge the status quo in order to promote change, which may be philosophically futile, and yet the explanation to why they say youth is wasted on the young. Still, I still feel like somebody's going to be watching this and still want to know, why does he feel outnumbered? Why does he feel outgunned? Well, because he was an ex-con that had just passed middle age and he was poor. In any case, I'm Fox. This is Check It Out. Let me know any lessons I missed in the comments. Check It Out Hood Reviews is an official black-owned business. Hitting that like button, sharing, and subscribing is the least expensive way you can show your support, man. So support your homie, man. Do what I say do. Like, share, and subscribe so the big homie can survive. If not, you just a hater on the block, you know what I mean? And you know how we'd be looking at haters on the block like, I don't like that. Nope, I don't like that. But yeah, like, share, and subscribe so the big homie can survive, man. Y'all be cool. Remember, be safe. Choose wisely out there, man.
Okay. So what you want to eat?